Good morning, everyone. Okay, my name's Abdul Samad. I'm the Digital Project Coordinator for Age Cymru Gwent. For those of you who don't know who we are or what we do, we're a charity organization aimed to empower people aged 50 and above. We have over a dozen different services, and the one I'm going to be talking about today specifically is our digital inclusion service. Now, just really quickly, by a show of hands, how many of us here have a smartphone or a tablet? Okay, that's good, and that's nearly all of us. Okay, how many of us can use our device to message on WhatsApp or shop online without any help? That's pretty much most of us, so that's very good. So you've probably come across people or know of people who would answer no to these questions. So it's up to us then to reach out to them and make sure they don't get left behind with digital technology. Okay. Now, when you hear digital inclusion, what comes to mind? What's that? Complexity. Okay.
I would say ability to access facilities and services, pensions.
I'm glad you said that. At least our branding is a little bit on track then. Okay, so when we say digital, what we're really talking about is how we use these devices. Okay. And our digital inclusion service was built to help people ease into their own digital journey. Our aim is to reduce stress or anxiety in this area and to inspire you to become more confident in using one or more of these devices. Okay, but why? Why bother with this? Why would somebody, particularly an older person, want to spend their time and effort to learn how to use these devices? Well, digital technology continues to transform our lives in ways we communicate, work, access services, like booking a visit to the rubbish tip or dealing with your permits, and even how we spend our spare time. Being digitally confident offers you a choice that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And it allows you to manage your time better. So you can spend more time doing the things that you enjoy. Okay, so for example, there are still a handful of people who visit their bank for a balance. Some people may be a little bit more proactive, and they'll have telephone banking set up where they make a call, answer a few security questions, and if they get it right, they can have their, they can ask for their balance. But why not consider mobile banking? Do most of us here or any of us have mobile banking? Okay, that's less than half. So with mobile banking then, you have access to your bank 24/7. It's literally in your pocket. There's no more waiting in queues to speak to an agent. And if you have your fingerprint set up, there's no need to remember answers to these tricky security questions. And by the way, your fingerprint is way more secure than any type of security questions the banks will ask you. And obviously, more importantly, you can have your balance within seconds, literally seconds. Okay. But it's not just financial benefits you get. You can pay your bills, your utility bills faster. You can arrange for your prescriptions in a more convenient manner. You can have your shopping come right down to your doorstep. And most services are available 24/7 online. Okay, so let's say you've done all this, you learned how to do all these things, you become very efficient, you're doing things a lot quicker now. But now you have all this free time and you don't know what to do. So let's look at other choices you get by being digitally confident. Okay, instant communication. I think that's the most popular one. Communication has come a long way, and staying in touch with friends and family is more convenient than ever before, even if they're always busy. You can write them a message, send them a voice recording, or send them a video. And what's great is that you can see when they've read your message, when they've heard your voice message, or when they've watched your video. Okay, so how much better is that than your traditional answer phone? It's obviously nothing beats a real life face-to-face conversation. But it's these little things that enhances the conversations that we have digitally. And we found at Age Cymru Gwent, by older people embracing technology, they were benefited greatly in their mental, physical, and social well-being, especially in the lockdown. I've got a video here to show you of one of our service users who benefited in this way.
My name is Raymond. I was born in 1939. It makes me 82. As I was growing up, I wanted to be a commercial artist. My passion for art really began when I was 3 years old. Before the pandemic, I used to go to various art clubs, but when the coronavirus came about, all that stopped. I was a fish out of water. My wife has a lot of friends on Zoom. She does about 6 meetings a week. And I thought, oh, that looks interesting. I can get online. So I can search out some artists that may be online as well. I'm very grateful to Lloyd. He's taken me through a wide range of things.
Since the pandemic, it has isolated a lot of individuals. It has made them scared. It's impacted their physical, mental and social well-being. So they've desperately been seeking ways to connect. People can face many barriers to access technology. Digital champions give people the skills, the knowledge to enter a digital platform.
I thought maybe it would be a bit difficult for me at first because I forget things. So I said to Lloyd, I'm sorry, what we learned yesterday, I'll have to go over it again. He said, no problem, it's why I'm here. We go over it again and again and again.
I employed a person-centered approach. I tailor-made the program to suit Ray's needs. He came across as determined and committed.
Now I can go zooming off and we can have our art meetings virtually.
Ray's progress has been absolutely phenomenal. He's showing people how to take small steps into big strides, and he's been fantastic.
I cannot praise Lloyd enough for his patience. Everything to do with the internet is a lot easier for me now.
Okay, so it's not just, you could do a lot more things. There's so much things to do and discover. And, you could watch your movies and soaps on demand. You can play games online, whether free or paid. And there are very entertaining ones that exercise your brain. So it's quite healthy for your brain. We also can teach you how to problem solve and carry out your own research online. So that could be something as simple as finding out when, the opening times of a local store. Okay. Now, did you know that there's 2 million older people who have no digital skills whatsoever? This was a research carried out by one of our funders, Age UK, back in March of the year 2020. And this number is in England alone. But why? Why would somebody choose not to empower themselves with technology? Is it because of time? If so, our skills sessions are typically 1 hour long, once or twice a week, or whenever you're available. We actually have a service user who suffers from chronic pain, and we've cut their sessions down to just 15 minutes a week. Okay, so maybe it's an issue with money. If so, then all our skills sessions are free. And if you don't have a device, which most of us here do, we have something called a free digital loan scheme, where we lend you a large screen tablet to use for your sessions. Now, I just want to emphasize on free loan. That means there's no credit checks needed, there's no deposit to be paid, and there's no monthly fees. You just need to promise that you'll use the device for your sessions and you'll try to develop your digital skills. Okay, so if it's not an issue with time, if it's not an issue with money, then maybe it's self-confidence. Okay, maybe they didn't go to school or didn't have an educational background, or maybe they struggle with learning. We found that the most common cause is the latter. People they're afraid to get things wrong. They have a negative relationship with failure. And I mean, I do understand that it's not very impressive talking about your failures in a job interview. But nevertheless, we do need a more positive outlook on failure. It is literally the stepping stones to success. When you fail at something, it's just another way of finding out how not to do something. It's where all the lessons are, to be honest. I mean, if you really think about it, in order to grow, you have to actually seek failure. Let me explain this. When you go to the gym and you exercise to a point where you can't go any further. You can't lift any more weights, or you can't run any longer. And it's at this point where amazing things happen. And it's with all of us. And it's not just bound to the physical realm, it's also the mental. So at this point, we give our bodies, our adaptive nature the opportunity to kick in. And what failure does, it recognizes the areas that we need to evolve. So next time when you do come to the gym to work out, you are able to lift a little bit more or run a little bit longer. It all starts with thought. Okay? Thoughts obviously lead to action. So that's why it's so important to make sure, to be careful what we feed our mind. Remember, he who says I can and he who says I can't are both usually right. And age is just a number. And these folks have proved just that. Here we have John Glenn, the oldest astronaut to ever go to space at age 77. And then we have Yuichiro Miura, who is the oldest to reach the summit of Mount Everest. He's accomplished this at age 80, but this is the second time he's done it. The first time was in his 70s, and he's actually planning to do this again when he's 90. He's currently 88, so you can follow that if you wish. And then we have Wei-Fang Yuan, a 98-year-old who founded the Richmond Wellness Club in Canada. He helps up to 200 people a day in their well-being. And his advice to older people is, you go out, communicate, and make friends and do activities. Now, obviously, going out at this time may be a bit questionable, but if 98-year-old Wei Fang is doing so well with his well-being, I'm definitely going to be taking his advice. You've all been amazing. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.